Alright. See, it's 7 o'clock. We're gonna go ahead and we'll call this meeting to order. Let the record show that all members are present. At this time, we'll stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone should have a copy of the minutes on your board docs. Does anybody have any corrections or additions to the policy? If not, we will let those stand as ordered. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I got the wrong agenda for this. It's a meeting. We're having a meeting. Right. My apologies. You gotta do that first of the year. Well, then you gotta get the order right on.
I can't change it. It won't let me change it.
My apologies. All right. So we have to do patron statements first. If anyone has a statement to make on their agenda, do we have any of those? All right. Written.
If there was a written request to speak.
All right. So now we have no new members, so we don't need to do any oath of office tonight. So we're at the point where we do an election of our officers for 2026. First up is the president of the board. Do we have any nominations for that?
We would like to nominate someone.
Do we need a second for that?
No, you just have to accept the nomination.
I will accept the nomination. Do we have any other nominations? If not, we close the nominations and vote.
Mhm.
Sorry, we only do this once a year, folks. Get in the groove. All right, all in favor of Scott Arthur as the president, raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, for vice president, I think I can make a nomination on this, so I'll nominate Mr. Tim Hedrick, if he'll accept.
I'll accept.
Do you have any other nominations? No. All in favor of Tim Hedrick? 7-0. Secretary, do we have any nominations for that?
We already nominate Sarah.
We accept. We have a nomination of Sarah Browning. Do we have any others? If not, all in favor of Sarah Browning? 7-0. Okay, so do we need to do these other two, or do we want? I don't remember how we do this one.
A lot of times we've taken them together, but it's traditionally always been the same people, president and secretary, but
Yeah, do them.
we could do them together.
Okay. So typically, we need a president of the Board of Finance and a secretary of the Board of Finance, and that typically follows the board president and secretary in those roles. I don't think I need a nomination for that. I guess, if all in favor of following that tradition, raise your right hand. 7-0. All right. Now, for appointments, Mr. Frank, do you recommend those for us?
I'd like to recommend Carrie Alford be designated as the school court treasurer, Andrea Martin as the assistant treasurer, and myself, Kevin Frank, the superintendent, will serve as a representative for the school district on the Twin Rivers Vocational Co-op Board, the Davies Martin Special Education Co-op Board, and the Educational Service Centers Risk Fund Trust.
Okay, I have a recommendation to make those three appointments. I need a motion for that from Mr. Miller, a second from Mr. Hedrick. Does anybody have any reason to not vote on these in bulk? Not. All in favor of approval? 7-0. Okay. Board compensation.
So board compensation, historically, at least here recently, the school board members have received a $2,000 per year stipend with no per diem for the meetings. Indiana school board members, this is a new update that came out of last spring's legislation. Indiana school board members may receive an amount not to exceed 10% of the lowest starting salary of a teacher employed by the school corporation for their service plus a per diem. The amount would be a maximum of $4,555 per year for Washington School Board. The maximum per diem is $150 for regular meetings and $75 for other meetings. And just as an FYI, Washington Community School Board members are paid from the operations fund.
Okay, so it's not really necessarily a recommendation from Mr. Frank. That's the information. And at this time, if anybody wants to discuss this or offer a motion for how we should proceed.
Since the state funding decrease and kind of budgetary tightening that we're trying to do, even though we're allowed, in the fact that we gave our teachers a very minuscule raise this year, it'd be nice, but I think we continue what we have been and don't take the increase.
Yes, comments? I would agree with Mr. Donovan on that. I don't think any of us really got on this board because of pay. It's a nice token. We do get something for it, but I don't see this as a time when we should be raising our own pay, and we can't raise our teacher pay as much as we'd like to. Would you like to offer a motion for that?
So I'll make a motion that we keep our compensation the same as it's always been with no increase.
Okay, looks like I have a second from Mr. Grant on that. Any further discussion? All in favor? 7-0. Thank you. Okay. Our regular meeting date and time.
So historically, or last couple of years, the regular board meeting has occurred on the third Thursday of each month, and it started at 7 p.m. So we want to keep that as our regular board meeting time, and then as things occur, we can schedule special meetings, and executive sessions, work sessions, those can be scheduled as we go.
Everybody good with keeping that the same? Do we need to vote on that, Mr. Mayor?
No, we haven't in the past.
We'll just let that stand as it has been. So at this time, we will adjourn the reorganization meeting, and we will call to order the Board of Finance meeting. All right, so Mr. Frank, please do the Board of Finance meeting.
Okay, so I provided the board members with a document that's titled Financial Indicators for January 15th, 2026 Reorganization Meeting. And there's a few things that were required by state code to review. The first ones are ADM, average daily membership, which is our fall enrollment count. And I've provided with you with the 5-year data. As you can see, 25-26, we're down about 43 students compared to the 24-25 school year. When you look at the 5-year span, we're kind of in the middle of the low points, which was in 21-22 and 22-23. The 25-26, so that 2490 number was taken at the start of October, and we're down by about another 20-some students as we enter the second semester. So, a couple things with that. The other document that I shared with you is a page out of the demographic study that we had done in January of 2024 when we started our facility study. And so, one piece of this is that it was in the forecast that we were going to be experiencing a little bit of an enrollment decline over the next few years. We'll bottom out. And then by the end of this 10-year report, we would basically be where we were 2 years ago, around 2,500 students. So a little bit of it is just the numbers, our population, birth rate, that sort of thing. I also had our data person run a report for me just to give me a little bit more information on, where are these kids going that we've lost since October. And so, it's a mix. We've had some leave and go to like either in-person or online homeschool, 31 of those. We've had 35 in-state school transfers. We've had 22 out-of-state or different country withdrawals. But in that time, we've also gained. So, it's some going in, a little bit at this time, more going out, some coming in. We have had 5 new enrollees coming from homeschool situations. We've had 40 transfer in from in-state schools, and we've had 12 coming in from out-of-state or other country schools. So, it's something that we have to monitor. The ADM is what funds our education account, and that's how we pay our staff. Everybody that's in the school buildings working with kids, in terms of the instruction, the teachers, the aides, the school administrators. So it's something we have to monitor. One of the things that we're doing, I've started conversations with our principals, is as we have attrition, we have to really sit back, kind of pause, and look at, do we need to replace this person or not? We've done that a little bit already. We'll have one for your I'll have a recommendation for a new teacher hire on a mid-year resignation that we're hiring a teacher on a temporary contract. That, these individuals are coming in and they understand the situation that we're in. Just to where at the end of the school year, we'll have to evaluate, where are we with our enrollment? What's our need for the 26, 27 school year? And that's just something that we have to really have on our radar going here into the spring as we start to plan for the next school year. The next thing that we would look at is our cash balances. First one is that education account. Again, education account is funded by your enrollment. And so when you look at that and kind of look at that historical run from 22 to 25, there's a little bit of a story to tell. From 22 to 23 is where we really leveraged our COVID money, and we were able to build the cash balance. And then once that COVID money was spent, we've slowly been coming down. I think we're in a little bit of a decent spot right now. We did have to go tight with teacher negotiations. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. It really is a thing where we have to look at just constrict the staff. As that enrollment goes down, we're going to try to do everything to try to slow that down and deter that. But as our enrollment goes down, we do have to reduce staff. And again, I want to do that in a way where we're not, where it's through attrition and we're just simply not replacing positions. The operations account, again, it's not a real positive thing. We're down by about 150,000 from prior year cash balance, year end 24 to year end 25. And of the two, this is the one that probably just has my attention more than the other one, because I feel like with some of the changes from the state level in funding, that revenue streams are really going to tighten up and really in a way out of our control. I feel like in some ways the education account, while we can't control population and some of these things that the demographic study shows that we're facing, I feel like we'll do everything we can to keep our kids and to try to attract other kids and to try to to keep that enrollment where we want it. This operations challenge it's things outside of our control where there's changes with property taxes and changes with how much public schools are receiving. And a big portion of our executive board training on February 9th is going to be looking at that. We'll have a policy analytics representative come in and provide that training, provide a specific forecast to us. But that's the one that I think both short-term and long-term, it's probably going to take, whether it's through work sessions and board meetings, just discussion on how we're going to tighten up in the operations account. I think it's things, here. We need to continue to educate our public with where we're at. To me, it's a thing where it's the discretionary type of projects. It's that sidewalk that's cracking. It's the room that maybe needs a new paint job. It's going to be things like that initially that we're just going to have to say no to kind of get through. And I feel like we've done a lot here in the last 3-4 years with trying to make improvements and just the look of things, but some of that is the first stuff that's probably going to have to be stopped. It's things like, some of our booster clubs that want to see improvements on fields and courts and things. It's just going to become really difficult for us to do some of that if nothing changes from the state level. But that's definitely one that, again, we just have to monitor. There's just not a lot of extra dollars flowing into that. The one piece of good news that I can report is that our rainy day fund grew by basically $300,000. We didn't spend a single dollar in 2025 out of our rainy day fund. What is funding that right now is LIT, the local income tax. The bad news on that is that last spring's legislation made a change on that, and we're only going to get that revenue stream from the local income tax this year and next year, and then that goes away in 2028. So, the rainy day fund, I think, is there for if we have that emergency type of situation, HVAC fails, some other type of facility thing that we have to fix to keep the schools open. Hopefully we'll have some good luck here and we won't have to dip into that. And if we could get 2 more years of that lit income, which it's essentially about $240,000. Carrie has shared with me sometimes it can be a little bit more than that, sometimes a little bit less. But the way I'm looking at it, if we could get close to another $500,000 into the rainy day fund over the next 2 years and try to grow that as close to $1 million, just to have that as an insurance and cushion over these next few years is, I think, the strategy we need to go with. Interest income is another item that we report on during this meeting, and last year's interest was $290,757.54. All of that gets put into the operations account. So that's the account that needs it. Does anyone have any questions on any of that at this time?
Probably worth noting that this is not just a problem for Washington schools, it's statewide.
Yeah.
The board emails that we get talks about every school system is talking about losing millions and millions of dollars. So it's not WCS problem, it's a statewide problem.
I think I'd also want to note that seeing that operations fund down now, everybody's hearing about how those are going to be affected by Senate Bill 1 from last year. In 2025, that had no effect. So,
Yeah.
That's a problem that's going to continue to get worse.
Right. So that's the one that definitely has my attention. And during the board training, we'll have more detailed information that we can look at, and it might be a thing where we'll have to go into where can we cut. Operations funds transportation, funds facilities, the utilities, custodial grounds. There's not a whole lot there, so that's what makes it a challenge. You know, we gotta keep the place, we gotta keep our buses rolling, we gotta keep buildings warmed and cooled and cleaned, and so it becomes a really challenging issue for us, but that's kind of the position we're in.
I think I would say I sympathize with the idea that we all want to have our property taxes go down. And budgets need to be tightened and, you know, do more with less and this and that, but I don't feel like Washington Community Schools has been doing anything very extravagant with our operations.
No, yeah, I mean, my thing with that is come visit us and we'll take you on a tour and let you see. You know, we'll show you the good, bad, and ugly, and things that we let go, and there's a lot of things we all would like to go fix and improve, and you know, we let go, but I don't know where
I feel like we've been, for years, this community's been as fiscally responsible as it could. We don't have any caution homes around here. With our long-term money, we've been trying to fix the biggest problems that we see for our students and our community. And it's going to be a not so fun period to be helping make those decisions.
So what are our state legislators, what are they saying? Every school will have to be going to them, saying, hey, we're gonna be struggling. And just tighten the budget, that's just their answer, or do more with less.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
that's what the governor says, you know, and I don't think it's something that would work here, but a lot of schools are exploring, operation referendums. And I feel like that's kind of what their answer is for us, but I just don't think that's something our community would support.
I'm sorry. I want to make sure I understand this 2025 interest is 290, and then whatever we get in interest, that goes into the operations.
Yes,
So is the 982, was that at the end before or does that include that?
that includes it.
That includes,
Yeah,
okay,
that's the year in balance, so that includes everything that went in and what went out.
all right, thank
On that cheery note,
Yeah.
if I have any other questions or comments before we move on to the next part of the meeting.
I'm sure you and Rob can get some things changed next month,
Yeah.
go up there.
We're going to the State House for ISBA State House Day. And, I don't know that, Mr. Hedrick and I have been a couple times. I don't know that I've ever left there feeling real optimistic, but
you. I can say that the appropriations, the Senate Appropriations Committee that I follow online, watch, they spent over 2 hours discussing Senate Bill 1 this morning. The meeting started at 9 and they went till, well, actually longer than that, it's probably closer to 12:30. I don't know that anything actually got done, a lot of talk, but as far as useful action. It'll all come that last day of session, that last evening.
all right. Do I need a motion to adjourn or anything, or we
You can take a motion to adjourn this
got a
meeting.
motion to adjourn this meeting, Mr. Homer, second, Mrs. Browning, all in favor? All right. That meeting is adjourned. Now.
I'm waiting on that.
Okay.
Two of them there, claims and appropriations.
All right. Go ahead and call our regular monthly board meeting to order. And again, on the roll call, all members are present. Okay, at this time, we All had a copy of the minutes presented to us on board docs. Anybody have any additions or corrections? Not, we'll let those stand as presented. Mrs. Browning, do you have claims to present?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve all claims and payrolls as submitted.
Motion from Mrs. Browning for that. Second, Mr. Elmer. You want to have any questions regarding the claims this month? Not, all in favor of approval? 7-0. No donations this month? Information.
Okay, we have a few items for the information report. First, we would like to recognize our staff members of the month. We have 3 of our staff members here to recognize. We'd like to thank our sponsors, the Big Injury Law Firm and Tim Cochran. We appreciate their support to fund this program. Our first is teacher Amy Klein, works at Washingtonville Elementary, and she was nominated by Mr. Wildman. And he wrote, "It is a distinct privilege to recommend Mrs. Amy Klein for the Staff Member of the Month Award. Having worked alongside her for the past 2 years, I've witnessed firsthand her unwavering passion and diligent advocacy for her students' success. Mrs. Klein is an educator who consistently surpasses the standard expectations of her role. Her instructional decisions are not based on guesswork. Rather, she conducts deep dives into student data to ensure every lesson is precision targeted to meet specific learner needs. Her commitment extends beyond the school day as she frequently volunteers her own time for after-school tutoring sessions, demonstrating a level of dedication that resonates throughout our school community. The impact of Mrs. Klein's approach is visible in her students' exceptional results. She strikes a masterly balance between setting high academic expectations and maintaining the compassionate flexibility required to support diverse learners. This has led to better than average growth in both academic achievement and social emotional maturity. Notably, her passionate instruction in writing, from sentences to full stories, has served as a catalyst for growth in reading, writing, and even oral communication. Finally, Mrs. Klein serves as a vital bridge between school and home. Her ability to communicate with parents in a meaningful, professional, and proactive manner ensures that families are true partners in the educational journey. For these reasons, I highly recommend Mrs. Amy Klein for this recognition. She embodies the excellence and heart we value in our staff. Congratulations, Amy. Next, we have Macy Garcia with Sodexo Facilities, and she's been nominated by the facilities director, Graham Giesler. And he writes, "I would like to share my appreciation and to highlight the contributions of Macy Garcia. Macy has demonstrated tremendous growth during her time with Sodexo. From early on, she has shown the qualities of an emerging leader, and it has been a privilege to support her development. Her dedication is especially remarkable given the consistent challenge of operating in a building that is often understaffed. Despite this, Macy meets every day with resilience, performing at her absolute best and persevering with a positive attitude. Perhaps most impressively, Macy has become an invaluable mentor within our team. She has done a remarkable job leading and training others, taking colleagues with little experience and transforming them into key contributors. She instills in them a strong work ethic and professional attributes that are a direct reflection of her own commitment and skill. We are incredibly fortunate to have Macy as part of our Sodexo staff. The positive impact on our team and our school facilities is deeply felt. I look forward to supporting Macy's continued career growth and to seeing all that she will accomplish in the future for our school and community. Thank you, Macy." And finally, we have Lisa Emick, who's a teacher at Washington Upper Elementary, and she's been nominated by the principal, Rhiannon Fry. And Mrs. Fry writes, "We are thrilled to recognize Lisa Emick as our Staff Member of the Month. Her dedication and contributions to our school community shine brightly in several key areas. Lisa is committed to continuous learning, always seeking to deepen her understanding of her subject matter. She creatively connects concepts to real-world applications and integrates them with other subjects, enriching the educational experience for her students. As a role model for her peers, Lisa is the first person colleagues turn to for guidance and support. Her willingness to share her expertise fosters a collaborative environment among staff. Lisa plays a pivotal role in our upper elementary robotics program, showcasing her exceptional abilities to secure funding and resources. Her efforts ensure that students have access to valuable hands-on learning experiences. She actively contributes to cultivating a positive culture in upper elementary, where staff members are celebrated and fun is part of our daily routine. Her infectious enthusiasm uplifts everyone around her. A true leader, Lisa is incredibly dependable and trustworthy. She consistently steps up to tackle challenges, even those outside her immediate responsibilities, always striving to enhance our school. Lisa has successfully written numerous grants and garnered donations from the community, significantly benefiting her classroom and the robotics program. Her efforts have not gone unnoticed, earning respect and admiration from community members for the positive impact she has on our students. When faced with challenges, Lisa approaches them with a solutions-oriented mindset. She identifies problems and presents thoughtful solutions, eager to collaborate on ways to improve our school environment. Congratulations, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the information report, we have our project manager, Mike Holtkamp from Hagerman here for an update.
Good evening, Mr. Frank, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Trustees. That's a tough act to follow. Congratulations to those employees. Those are great words, nice words been spoken. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about the construction project. Good news, we finally started. We turned some dirt. So we've started with the playground, new building the playground. We've got the area graded. We've got some underground drain tile in, and we've extracted, harvested, if you will, the playground equipment that we're going to repurpose and put back in the new playground. So it's been out of the ground, and hopefully with the weather cooperating here, we can get that crew back and get that equipment set real soon. Then we'll get the edging, then we'll get some fencing up, the mulch down, and get that, and get some of the new equipment hopefully ordered and get that playground back operational. So that's on our path. The design continues to advance. I know it's not like a broken record. I'm always talking about the design, but it is getting a lot closer. I've been looking at all those drawings, so that'll continue, and hopefully at the end of this month, we'll have what I'll say pretty much all the permit construction drawings completed, that we can now really advance the process. Let's see, the little pre-K playground, we're working on that. We worked on some land, hopefully advancing the land purchasing, and we do have our drawings in to the local agency for the site and drainage approval. We're still awaiting that permit, although I've been told it's imminent. I put some photos there for you to look at, and thank you for the work, and I guess for Mr. Frank, go IU, right? So,
Right.
any questions for me tonight? Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And the last item for the information report, I've asked our board member, Rob McCormick, he's our legislative liaison, just to provide a briefing. It's kind of in the early stages of what's happening in Indianapolis, and he can share a little bit on that.
Well, it will be about the end of February. It'll be done a little sooner since they started, but we've got a couple weeks in, so it's gonna be that little quicker.
Okay.
And I want to clarify, I made a comment just a few minutes ago about watching the session, the appropriations meeting, it's over 2 hours. I was at home, I wasn't sitting directly in front of the computer. The whole time, I was doing some chores around the house and getting a few things done, just for the purpose of clarification. I sent an email to Mr. Frank and asked him to share it back out, and in that email, there are 2 links. One is the ISBA watch list of bills, and the other one, I went ahead and put the ISBA down. And they're almost identical. There's a few differences, but there's a link there. You can look. There are quite a few bills that are presented. Doesn't necessarily mean all of them are going to go through or even be heard to be read. In there, I mentioned also a few bills, just to give you an idea. Senate Bill 58 came back up. Nothing's happened with it. It was filed. That's cursive writing. Well, there's a push on the cursive writing and an attempt to push that one through. I will let that go. Then Senate Bill 77 is assigned to committee, and I mean, had action as of 2 days ago. And that one is in regards to having a wireless communication policy incorporated and focusing on school-owned equipment, which ties then to 78 and 1030, House Bill 1034. The big thing that may impact our school, probably more so the high school and junior high with the older kids, is cell phone. You know, there's the bill as first presented was bell to bell. The phone, nothing beyond the child, the student throughout the day. You know, which, you know, it all sounds well and good until you get the logistics. They can keep them in their locker. Well, if they don't share their locker number, it's safe in there. Is that going to present something to the school? Are we going to need to provide some type of, which is, you know, one of those unfunded mandate kinds of thing? Flip that in also, you know, the state passes a bill, the law is you can't have it, and then how much time are our teachers and administrators going to be taking up getting the kids to understand, no, you cannot have it. Not to mention, you know, there's going to be, rightfully so, some pushback. You know, parents are going to want their kids in case that emergency, you know, the water main breaks and we've got to get out quickly, you know, that kind of thing. That's probably going to be the biggest thing that we see or hear about. As you alluded to, there are some finance things that are included in there also. Well, transportation's not here necessarily. Bill 1059, House Bill advertising on school buses. There's a bill wanting to, if the school corporation adopts a policy, if it gets passed, you adopt a policy about advertising on your school buses. I guess maybe
Another revenue stream?
I was gonna say, another bucket, and we can designate that for rainy day or operation. But that, I'm gonna stop that. The big thing is you got links, you can look and see what's out there. And I should put, I mean, you can, I mean, the session goes on, you can always log in. I log in, you can always get on the computer and bring it up, and there are video feeds of what's going on. And even mute the thing and turn on it'll run a dialogue underneath, so you can mute your computer and have it running and not be a distraction, so. I'll add that and send it to you. And go from there. All right, I'm gonna be quiet then.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
I think I'd add, I don't know if any of you, the rest of you have seen it. Terry Spradlin sends out a 5-minute video update. I'm short attention span on things like that. He gets the nuts and bolts pretty quick. I really appreciate that. I think it's a good thing for us to keep an eye on. But thank you, Rob. I appreciate the information.
I will say, one more thing I will say. The thing is, this is just the education. There, you know, the other things that are going on, I did see something outside of that area about the TIF and how to draw from that and who can. So there are things outside. I'm just looking at what's under education. So.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move ahead with patron statements on agenda topics. Don't have any tonight, so we'll move right into personnel. Looks like no resignations or retirements. Leaves. Go to the appointments.
For appointments, I'm recommending Lauren John for an elementary teacher position. This will fill one of the openings that we had at Washington Intermediate. We had 2 resignations there before the end of the semester, and this will fill the other remaining opening. And as you can see, Ms. John is aware that she'll be on a temporary contract just through the rest of this school year, and then we'll evaluate what our needs are for 26 and 27.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve the appointment of Lauren John. A motion from Mr. Grant, second from Mr. Miller. Do I have any questions on the appointment? Not, all in favor? 7-0. ECA appointments.
2 ECA appointments to recommend. First for elementary STEM at Deal. I'd like to recommend Flo Lloyd for that position. and for high school assistant boys track coach Travis Harper.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve these two ECA appointments. So a motion for that. Mrs. Brown, second for Mr. McCormick. Anybody have any questions or any reason to vote separately? Not, all in favor? 7-0. No other?
No other.
Old business?
No old business.
All right, moving into new business.
First item that I'm presenting to the board is the APA 1003 resolution for instructional day waiver for the from 2026 to 2028. So basically what this is, I've had this on the board agenda in the past where the board approves the resolution. Once we have that signed, then that becomes part of my application to the state to request the waiver for our late start Wednesdays. And so the current waiver is good through the end of the school year. We have to start the process now for next year, and they do it in 2-year chunks, because I'll complete the application with the resolution, and it's a process that goes through the state board of education, and they're accepting these now through April for next year.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve the resolution for our instructional day waiver. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Miller, second for Mr. McCormick. Any questions on that resolution? Not all in favor? 7-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of 2 high school beta club trips. The first one is in March 11th to 13th, it's Beta Club Leadership Summit in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And the second one is the state competition and convention at Nashville, Tennessee. These are 2 trips that our Beta Club traditionally takes, and it needs board approval because they are out of state and overnight.
Okay, I have a recommendation to approve the 2 trips for the Beta Club. Do I have a motion for that? Mrs. Brown. Mr. Miller. Any questions on the Beta Club trips? Not all in favor? 7-0. School FCCLA.
Yes, would like to recommend the approval of the FCCLA trip. This is a state leadership conference in Muncie at the end of February. And I believe this is one that's becoming a little bit of an annual thing, but it is an overnight conference and requires board approval.
Okay, recommendation to approve this trip. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Noel, second. Mr. Miller. Questions on that trip? Not all in favor? 7-0. Decca.
Might combine the
Decca
recommendation.
DPA,
Yeah,
the same.
it's kind of the same group.
Okay.
DACA Leadership Conference, I think when you open up the attachment, it's in Indianapolis, but it's kind of a long attended meeting, the conference by our DECA club. It's overnight, and they're in early March. And then the BPA Leadership Conference is that next weekend, again in Indianapolis, and it's overnight, so both of those require board approval.
Yeah, recommendation to approve the BPA and DECA trips to Indianapolis. I have a motion for Mr. Cornelius, second for Mrs. Brown. Any questions on those 2 trips? All in favor of approval? 7-0. No other. Do we have anyone that wants to address the board on non-agenda? Okay. Moving on to information items.
On the information items, what's posted there on the agenda, so we'll have the executive session, which is for board training. Then we have a policy analytics is a kind of a financial advisor type of company. They're doing a lot of statistical review of our financials and pulling in the information from Senate Bill 1 to give us information for decision-making purposes. And the big one there will be the operations account, but that'll be on February 9th, beginning at 6 o'clock here in the boardroom. Regular February board meeting will be the 19th at 7. Would also like to make note that the school corporation will have a booth at the Chamber of Commerce Business and Lifestyle Expo on Saturday, February 7th from 9 to noon. We're going to do a little bit of everything, kind of a little bit of a focus on our pre-registration for kindergarten and preschool for next year. I'm recruiting the principals and their forms from the buildings. We'll have kind of a schedule to man the booth. Board members are welcome if you want to come and help represent our booth. You're more than welcome to come and do that. You don't have to stay the whole time or anything. And if you're just out and about and want to come by, that's fine too. Homecoming basketball game tomorrow night. Looks to be a good night. And we've got the band barbecue dinner and silent auction. And our playground fundraiser, it's ongoing. We don't want to give too much information yet because we've got another day of collection and we'll have some collection jars at that basketball game tomorrow night. But we'll make an announcement sometime by early Monday morning about what will happen on Tuesday, and likely think a lot of great supporters of Washington Community Schools and a lot of passionate folks that care about this place and care about the Washington primary playground and that project. So some really good stuff happening there.
What was the date at the Chamber of Commerce?
The Chamber of Commerce is on Saturday, February 7th, and that's at the Conservation Building.
What's the time frame?
It's 9 to 10.
You also have pancake breakfast for baseball on the 31st. That's coming up. And then we just announced today that we're doing the athletic gala. Again, we do it every other year, so April 18th. So, save the date.
Anybody else have anything to bring to the Well, before we go. And I think the softball team has one in the following.
Lady Taco.
Advertisements that they gave me to put on the scoreboard. Softball tacos, the 24th.
Yeah.
Baseball breakfast on the 31st. And then the school musical, Lion King,
Right.
in February.
That's in February?
February 7th and 8th.
Okay.
A lot going on at Washington Community School.
Happy February.
I'd like to take just a minute to, Mike, our project manager, has been here at all these meetings, but, and as he says, we're always talking about moving along with the design. But I think Mr. Romer, Mr. Hedrick, and now Mr. Foreman and I have sat in on a lot of meetings that Mrs. Murphy, our principal, Graham Giesler, Zach Lacey with IT, we've had a lot of staff putting a lot of time into really trying to fine tune this, working with Ratio and Hagerman. And I just want to publicly put out my appreciation for those folks and the time and thought that they've put into this, along with Mr. Frank and the rest of the administration. So very excited to see things. We love to see dirt turn, but I think there's a lot of good things going to happen. We're going to do the best we can with the funds we have out of that place, and seems like we're always finding ways to do it the right way, but save some money. And I hope the public will be pleased with what we put forward. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So Mr. Hedrick, Mr. Miller, all in favor? 7-0. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Go.
Good,